Her cruel words broke me that night. My fake profile got her attacked. I confessed to everything. Then she stood up. My name is Emma, and I'm a junior at the University of Washington in Seattle. I share a dorm room in Maple Hall with Sarah, a girl who seems to have it all together. She's confident, always perfectly dressed, with a smile that lights up any room. Me? I'm the opposite. I'm the girl who checks her reflection in every window, adjusts her hair a dozen times, and second guesses every outfit. I've always struggled with how I look, my confidence hanging by a thread. It's exhausting, living in my head, constantly wondering if I'm enough. Seattle's rainy days don't help. The gray skies make everything feel heavier, like my insecurities are soaked into my bones. I'm studying biology, hoping to become a veterinarian someday, but college life is overwhelming. Between classes, late-night study sessions, and trying to fit in, I'm barely keeping up. My friends are great, but I always feel like the odd one out, the one who doesn't quite belong. Sarah, though, she's the star of our group. Everyone loves her. She's got this effortless charm, always posting perfect Instagram stories from Pike Place Market or Capitol Hill coffee shops. But living with Sarah isn't easy. She has this way of making me feel small without even trying. It's not just that she's gorgeous, it's the little things she does. She'll glance at me when I'm getting ready, her lips twitching like she's holding back a laugh, or she'll compliment everyone else's outfit but skip over me, like I'm invisible. It stings every single time. I keep telling myself it's in my head, that I'm just too sensitive, but deep down, I know it's not. Sarah's subtle jabs are starting to chip away at me, and I'm not sure how much longer I can take it. Last weekend, we were all getting ready for a big campus party, a spring festival at the Quad. I felt good for once, wearing a new dress I'd saved up for. I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd finally fit in. But Sarah had other plans, and what she said that night changed everything. Sarah's subtle digs started small, like tiny pinpricks you barely notice until they add up. At first, it was just her silence. I'd post a selfie on Instagram, feeling brave for once, and she'd like everyone else's posts but mine. No heart emoji, no comment, nothing. Meanwhile, she'd hype up our friends, calling them gorgeous or slaying in group chats. I brushed it off, telling myself I was being paranoid. But it wasn't just online. In person, she'd never compliment me, even when I tried to break the ice. "Love your earrings, Sarah," I'd say, hoping for something in return. She'd just nod, her eyes flicking over me like I was a smudge on her mirror. Things got worse after a month. We'd all hang out at the dorm, planning nights out at Fremont bars or U-District parties. Sarah started cropping me out of group photos, not subtly either. She'd post a picture of our crew at Gasworks Park, my face conveniently cut off, like I was never there. Once, she even photoshopped me out entirely, leaving an awkward empty space where I'd been standing. Our friends noticed, exchanging glances, but no one said anything. I didn't either. I just swallowed the hurt, convincing myself it was my fault for not being photogenic enough. Then came the messages. One morning, my phone buzzed with a notification from Sarah. I opened it, expecting a group chat update. Instead, it was a flood of YouTube links. 10 ways to glow up overnight. Fix your skin in a week. How to look effortlessly hot. 50 videos in one day. Each title a silent scream that I wasn't good enough. My stomach twisted, but I didn't confront her. I just watched one video, then another, feeling smaller with every tip about contouring or fixing my flaws. The breaking point came during the spring festival prep. We were in our dorm, music blasting, getting ready for the big night. I'd spent hours picking out a green dress, feeling like I could finally shine. Our friends Lisa, Megan, and Chloe were laughing, passing around a bottle of cheap wine. I was tipsy, my insecurities dulled, smiling at my reflection for once. Then Sarah spoke up, her voice cutting through the chatter. "Wow, Emma, you're actually wearing makeup tonight. Maybe someone will notice you for once." The room went quiet. My smile froze, my cheeks burning. Lisa shot Sarah a dirty look, but Sarah just smirked, like she'd won something. I tried to laugh it off, mumbling a weak thanks, but the words stung like acid. Our friends moved on, hyping up Chloe's outfit, but I couldn't shake it. Sarah's comment echoed in my head, louder than the music. I felt exposed, like everyone was staring, judging. In that moment, something snapped. I was done being her punching bag. I excused myself, slipped into the bathroom, and locked the door. My hands shook as I stared at my reflection, tears threatening to ruin my mascara. I wasn't just hurt, I was angry. And that anger was about to make me do something I'd regret forever. I sat on the cold bathroom floor, my back against the door, the muffled beat of music seeping through from the dorm. My green dress felt like a costume now, mocking me. Sarah's words replayed in my head, each syllable a fresh cut. "Maybe someone will notice you for once." My eyes burned, mascara streaking down my cheeks. I wasn't just hurt, I was furious. Years of insecurity, of feeling less than, boiled over. Sarah didn't get to do this to me anymore. I needed to hit back, to make her feel even a fraction of the humiliation she'd piled on me. The wine from earlier buzzed in my veins, clouding my judgment, urging me on. I pulled out my phone, hands trembling, and opened the app store. Hinge. I'd heard friends talk about it, swiping through profiles at coffee shops in Capitol Hill. If Sarah thought she was so perfect, I'd make her look desperate. I'd make her a laughingstock. I downloaded the app, my heart pounding with a mix of rage and reckless excitement. This was it, my chance to flip the script. Creating the profile was easy. Sarah's Instagram was a goldmine, over 200 posts, each one curated to scream, "I'm flawless." I scrolled through her photos, her posing at Alki Beach, laughing at a rooftop bar, showing off her perfect smile. I screenshotted the most revealing ones, a bikini shot from a lake trip, a low-cut dress from a frat party. My fingers moved fast, fueled by spite. I didn't just want her embarrassed, I wanted her exposed. I opened a cheap photo editing app and went to work, tweaking her pictures to look just a little too provocative. A tighter crop here, a bolder filter there. It wasn't subtle, but neither was she. I set up the profile under under her name. Sarah Mitchell, 21, University of Washington. The bio was a masterpiece of desperation. Looking for fun? No strings attached? DM me if you're down for a wild night. I giggled, the wine making it feel like a game. I set the location to a 3-mile radius around campus, targeting every guy in the U District. Then I hit the premium subscription button, $75 charge to my credit card. Worth every penny, I thought, as I unlocked unlimited likes. I swiped right on every guy who popped up, my thumb moving like it had a mind of its own. The messages were where I got creative. Hey, you free tonight? I'm feeling wild. What's the naughtiest thing you'd do with me? Ever hooked up in a dorm? I sent dozens, each one bolder than the last. My stomach twisted with glee as I imagined Sarah's face when these guys started blowing up her phone. I even recognized a few names friends of her boyfriend, Mark, from his frat at Sigma Chi. I sent them the sauciest messages, giggling at the chaos I was about to unleash. One guy, Jake, responded instantly. Yo, Sarah, didn't know you were like this. Name the time and place. I smirked, typing back, keep it on the low, but I'm down for anything. My friends banged on the bathroom door, their voices cutting through my haze. Emma, come on! Sarah doesn't speak for us. You're awesome. Let's go. Lisa's voice was pleading, but I wasn't budging. I was too deep in my plan, my fingers flying across the screen. Chloe shouted, forget her, Emma. You're gorgeous. Come party. Their words warmed me, but I couldn't face them. Not yet. I kept swiping, kept messaging, until my phone burned hot in my hands. Finally, after an hour, they gave up and left for the festival, Sarah included. I was alone, the dorm eerily quiet. I leaned back, staring at the Hinge profile glowing on my screen. Sarah's edited photos stared back, a warped version of her perfection Facetune perfection. I felt a rush of satisfaction, thinking she'd finally get what she deserved. I deleted the app, cleared my history, and crawled into bed, a smug smile on my face. I fell asleep dreaming of her humiliation, blissfully unaware of the nightmare I'd just set in motion. I woke to my phone buzzing like a hornet's nest. The clock glowed 4:17 a.m., the dorm still dark. 29 missed calls, texts flooded my screen, all from Lisa, Megan, Chloe, and even numbers I didn't recognize. No Sarah. My stomach churned, a sour mix of last night's wine and dread. Something was wrong, horribly wrong. I opened a text from Lisa. Emma, where are you? Call me now. My hands shook as I dialed her number. She picked up on the first ring, her voice sharp, panicked. Emma, thank God, it's Sarah. She's in the hospital. The word hospital hit like a punch. What happened? I managed, my voice barely a croak. Lisa's words came fast, jagged. We were at the festival, then a frat party at Sigma Chi. Sarah split off, said she was meeting someone. Around 2 a.m., she texted me freaking out saying she needed help. Something about James, one of Mark's frat brothers. By the time we found her, she was a mess, Emma. Her dress was torn, her face bruised. She's at Harborview Medical Center. I froze, the phone trembling against my ear. Is she okay? I asked, dreading the answer. Lisa's voice cracked. She was attacked, Emma. They're saying it's bad. I threw on jeans and a hoodie, my heart hammering as I sprinted across campus to my car. The Seattle dawn was gray, rain misting the windshield as I sped to Harborview. My mind raced, replaying last night, the Hinge profile, the messages. James. Had my stupid prank caused this? No, it couldn't have. It was just supposed to embarrass her, not this. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, trying to convince myself I wasn't to blame, but the guilt was already sinking in, heavy as wet cement. At the hospital, I found Lisa, Megan, and Chloe in the waiting room, their faces pale, eyes red. Lisa spotted me and rushed over, hugging me tightly. We've been calling you all night, she whispered. Where were you? I mumbled something about passing out early, my throat tight. Megan filled me in, her voice low. Sarah was at the frat house. James showed her screenshots of these Hinge messages, really explicit stuff, saying she wanted to hook up. He said she was playing hard to get, that she'd been texting him all night. My blood ran cold. Those were my messages, my words. Megan kept talking, oblivious to my panic. Sarah swore she didn't send them, but James wouldn't listen. He forced himself on her, Emma. She fought back, but he didn't stop. Someone heard her yelling and called 911. Chloe, who'd been silent, wiped her eyes. Mark was there too. He saw the messages and flipped out. He broke up with her on the spot, said she was cheating. He won't even come to the hospital. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. My prank had spiraled into something monstrous. Sarah attacked, her life unraveling, because of me. I sank into a plastic chair, my hands covering my face. How's she doing now? I asked, my voice barely audible. Lisa sighed. She's stable, but she's not talking much. Her parents are flying in from Portland. The police are with her now, taking statements. The word police sent a fresh wave of panic through me. They'd find the profile. They'd trace it back to me. I'd used my credit card, my phone, my dorm's Wi-Fi. I was screwed. Lisa touched my arm. You okay, Emma? You look like you're gonna be sick. I nodded, forcing a weak smile, but my stomach was churning. I excused myself to the bathroom, locking myself in a stall. I leaned over the toilet, gagging, but nothing came up. My reflection in the mirror showed a stranger pale, eyes bloodshot, guilt written across my face. I'd wanted Sarah to feel small, to taste the humiliation she'd fed me for months, but this was unforgivable. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to steady my breathing. I had to fix this. But how? If I told the truth, I'd be exposed. expelled, maybe arrested. Identity theft, fraud, maybe worse. But if I stayed quiet, Sarah would keep suffering, blamed for messages she never sent. I dragged myself back to the waiting room. The fluorescent lights buzzed, casting harsh shadows. My friends were huddled together, whispering. Chloe looked up, her eyes puffy. They're letting us see her soon, in small groups. Wanna come? The thought of facing Sarah made my chest tighten, but I nodded. We walked down the sterile corridor, the beeping of medical equipment echoing like a warning. Room 314, Sarah's room. I froze outside, my legs heavy. Lisa gave me a gentle push. She needs us, she said softly. I didn't deserve to be here, but I followed. Sarah looked nothing like the vibrant girl I knew. Her face was bruised, one cheek swollen, her eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. The hospital gown made her seem small, fragile, like a broken version of herself. She didn't look at us when we entered, but her fingers twitched on the blanket, a sign she knew we were there. Hey Sarah, Lisa said, sitting beside her. Emma and I are here for you. At my name, Sarah's eyes flicked toward me, just for a second. There was something in her gaze, confusion, maybe pain, before she looked away again. I stood at the foot of her bed, mute, my throat burning with unsaid words. What could I say? Sorry I ruined your life? The guilt crushed me, making it hard to breathe the antiseptic air. I'd done this, and now I had to face what came next. I couldn't look Sarah in the eye. Her bruised face, her vacant stare, it was like staring at my own guilt. Lisa stayed by her side, whispering soft reassurances, but I stood frozen, my hands clenched at my sides. Sarah's gaze flicked to me again, sharper this time. Emma, she said, her voice low, cracked. Why were you in the bathroom so long that night? My heart stopped. The hospital room felt smaller, the beeping monitors louder. Did she know? Was she piecing it together? I was upset, I stammered, my voice barely audible. You know, after what you said. Sarah's lips tightened, but she didn't push further. Lisa glanced between us, confused, but didn't say anything. I mumbled an excuse and fled back to the waiting room, my pulse racing. Back in the dorm, alone, I paced our tiny room. Sarah's side was pristine, her desk organized, Polaroids of her and Mark pinned to a corkboard. My side was a mess, like my thoughts. I opened my laptop, staring at the blank screen, tempted to Google penalties for identity theft, but I didn't. I knew it was bad jail, expulsion, a ruined future. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of it. An email from the Dean of Students. Meeting request, Monday, 10 a.m., regarding recent campus incident. No details, just those cold words. My stomach dropped. They were on to me. The IP address from our dorm's Wi-Fi. The $75 charge on my card. It was a neon sign pointing straight to me. I barely slept that weekend. My mind a war zone of panic and guilt. Should I confess? Deny everything? Run? By Sunday night, I was a wreck. My eyes bloodshot. My hands shaking as I walked to Lisa's apartment to see Sarah again. She'd been discharged from Harborview, but was staying with Lisa until her parents arrived. Lisa let me in, her face tired but kind. She's having a rough day, she whispered. Be gentle. Sarah sat on the couch, knees tucked to her chest, wrapped in a hoodie. She looked up as I entered, her eyes dull but piercing. Hey, I said, perching on an armchair, my voice unsteady. How are you holding up? She shrugged, her fingers twisting the hoodie's drawstrings. Everyone keeps asking that, like I can just answer. Silence stretched between us, heavy, suffocating. Then Sarah spoke, her voice flat. They found more fake profiles, not just Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, all with my pictures. The police think it's tied to what happened. My throat tightened, sweat prickling my forehead. That's awful, I managed, my voice sounding hollow. She tilted her head, studying me. It's weird, right? All this happening right after I was such a jerk to you, those profiles popping up while you were locked in the bathroom. My blood turned to ice. She knew, or she suspected. I opened my mouth, but no words came. I was horrible to you, Emma, she continued, her voice softer now. I don't blame you for hating me, but this feels personal. I shifted, my hands clammy. I don't know anything about it, I lied, hating myself with every word. Sarah looked away, her jaw tight. The police are checking my phone, my laptop. They think I made the profiles myself, for attention or something. Can you believe that? Each word was a dagger. I wanted to scream the truth, to tell her it was me, that I'd never meant for this to happen, but fear glued my lips shut. Lisa came back with coffee, breaking the tension, and I left soon after, my secret burning a hole in my chest. Monday morning, I dragged myself to the dean's office in the Husky Union building. The room was intimidating dark wood, diplomas glaring down at me. Dean Carter, a stern woman with graying hair, sat across from me, flanked by a campus police officer. Emma, we're investigating an incident involving fake dating profiles targeting your roommate, Sarah Mitchell, she said, her voice clipped. The IP address traces to your dorm, and a credit card in your name was used. My heart pounded so loud I thought they'd hear it. The officer leaned forward. Care to explain? I stared at the floor, my rehearsed denial crumbling. They had me. There was no way out. I sat in Dean Carter's office, the weight of her stare pinning me to the chair. The campus police officer's pen scratched against his notepad, each sound a tick of a bomb about to explode. My mouth was dry, my hands trembling in my lap. They knew. The IP address, the credit card, it all pointed to me. I'd spent all night rehearsing lies, but now, facing them, I couldn't do it. The guilt was a vice around my chest, squeezing tighter with every second. I took a shaky breath, my eyes fixed on the floor. It was me, I whispered. I made the profiles. The room went still. Dean Carter's eyebrows shot up, but she didn't speak. The officer, Officer Hayes, leaned forward. Go on, he said, his voice calm but firm. So I told them everything. How Sarah's constant jabs at my appearance had worn me down. The night of the spring festival, her cruel comment cutting deeper than ever. How I'd locked myself in the bathroom, fueled by wine and rage, and created the fake Hinge profile profile to humiliate her. The edited photos, the explicit messages, the $75 subscription. I spilled it all, my voice breaking as I admitted I never meant for anyone to get hurt. I just wanted her to feel small for once, I said, tears streaming down my face. I didn't know this would happen to her. Dean Carter's expression was unreadable, but her silence felt heavier than judgment. Officer Hayes made notes, then looked up. You understand this is serious, Emma. Identity theft, fraud, and your actions may have contributed to a crime. I nodded, my throat tight. I know, I'm so sorry. The meeting ended with a blur of warnings, potential expulsion, legal charges, a disciplinary hearing. I left the office feeling like I'd stepped off a cliff, my future crumbling beneath me. That afternoon, I went to Lisa's apartment to see Sarah. She deserved to hear the truth from me, not the police. Lisa let me in, her eyes wary. Sarah was on the couch, a blanket draped over her shoulders. Her bruises were fading, but her eyes were still hollow. Can we talk alone? I asked Lisa, who hesitated but nodded and stepped out. I sat across from Sarah, my hands twisting in my lap. Sarah, it was me, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I made the profiles. I sent those messages. I was angry, hurt, and stupid. I never meant for you to get hurt like this. Sarah's face didn't change, but her fingers tightened on the blanket. Why didn't you tell me sooner? She asked, her voice cold. You saw me in the hospital. You let me think I was crazy. I winced, the truth of her words cutting deep. I was scared, I admitted. Scared of getting in trouble, of making it worse. But that's no excuse. I'm so sorry, Sarah. She looked away, her jaw tight. You know what James did to me, she said, her voice shaking. And now I know it started with you. I nodded, tears burning my eyes. I had no defense. Then Sarah surprised me. I'm not pressing charges, she said, her voice steady now. But you owe me, Emma. You're going to testify against James. Tell the court those messages were fake. Help me make sure he pays for what he did. I stared at her, stunned. Testifying meant exposing my shame to everyone, our friends, the campus, maybe beyond. But I owed her this, and more. I'll do it, I promised, my voice firm despite the fear. The preliminary hearing was in a Seattle courthouse, all cold marble and echoing footsteps. James sat across the room, surrounded by frat brothers in ill-fitting suits. I took the stand, my heart pounding, and told the truth. The profiles, the messages, my petty revenge, it all came pouring out. The defense attorney tried to twist it, claiming James thought Sarah was interested because of my deception. No, I said, looking straight at James. Those messages didn't give anyone permission to hurt her. She said no. That's what matters. My voice shook, but I held his gaze, refusing to back down. Sarah testified next, her voice strong as she recounted the assault, making it clear she'd rejected James repeatedly. When it was over, I felt drained but lighter, like I'd finally set down a weight I'd been carrying too long. James's fate was still uncertain, but I'd done what I could to make it right. Now I had to face the consequences of my own actions. The weeks after the hearing were a blur of consequences. The university put me on probation, but thanks to Sarah's plea, I wasn't expelled. I enrolled in a diversion program, community service, therapy, and workshops on digital ethics. It wasn't easy. The campus buzzed with whispers about me. Classmates avoided my gaze in lecture halls. Party invites dried up. I was the girl who'd set up fake profiles, the one whose prank spiraled into something horrific. Social media was worse. Screenshots of my testimony spread across group chats, branding me a villain. I deleted my Instagram, tired of the hate. Sarah transferred to Oregon State for a fresh start. I heard through Lisa that she joined a survivors support group, started therapy, and was slowly rebuilding. I stayed at the University of Washington, determined to graduate despite the stares. My old friends split. Lisa and Chloe cut me off, their anger too raw. Megan stayed neutral, checking in occasionally, but it wasn't the same. I found new friends eventually, people who saw past my mistakes, who believed in redemption. Still, the guilt lingered, a heavy stone in my chest. I started volunteering at the campus women's center in Seattle, sharing my story as a warning. I'd stand in front of small groups, my voice shaky, recounting how a moment of anger led to irreversible pain. Think before you act, I'd say, my eyes scanning the room. Petty revenge can destroy lives. It wasn't forgiveness I was seeking, it was purpose. If I could stop one person from making my mistake, maybe I could live with myself. A year later, during my senior spring, an email popped up from an unfamiliar address. Subject, from Sarah. My heart raced as I opened it. Emma, it began, I'm writing for a psychology project on forgiveness. It's been a long road, but I'm doing better. I forgive you. What you did was wrong, but so was how I treated you. We both fueled a fire that burned out of control. I don't regret transferring, it gave me a clean slate. But I wonder sometimes what could have been if we'd both been kinder from the start. I hope you're okay, Sarah. I read it twice, tears blurring my vision. She didn't hate me. That was enough. I sat at my desk in Maple Hall, staring at Sarah's empty side of the room. Her corkboard was gone, the Polaroids with Mark just a memory. I opened my laptop and typed a reply. Thank you, Sarah. I'm so sorry and I'm trying to be better. I hope you're finding peace. I hit send, my hands trembling. It wasn't closure, not fully, but it was a step. I closed my laptop, looking out at the Seattle skyline, the Space Needle glowing faintly in the distance. I'd lost friends, my reputation, and part of myself. But I'd gained something too, a hard lesson about actions and consequences. I vowed to carry it forward, to be kinder, to think twice. Maybe that was the only way to make things right.